Welcome to Storytime with the Crusty Paratrooper. I am your host, of course. I am the Crusty Paratrooper, and today we're going to be talking about an old war story. To me, it's one of the most fascinating stories. It is a story of dedication and loyalty that is almost unmatched anywhere in history. You may have heard of it. It's the story of Hiroo Onada, and let's get into the story, and you can find out what he did. So. Picture this. It's 1974. The Vietnam War is winding down, Nixon's resigned, and the world's buzzing with the disco and Watergate. But deep in the steamy jungles of the tiny Philippine island, a ghost from another era emerges. Rifle slung over his shoulder, uniform in tatters, looking like he just stepped out of a 1940s newsreel. This is Lieutenant Hiroo Onada, a Japanese soldier, and he is surrendering. 29 years after World War II ended, yeah, you heard that right, while Japan rebuilt into an economic powerhouse and the atomic scars faded, Onada waged a one-man war against shadows, convinced the Emperor still needed him. He outlasted the Beatles albums, the moon landings, and color TV. Welcome to the story of the last samurai of Lubang. Onada's unbreakable holdout, was it loyalty, denial, or was it something deeper in the human soul? Today, we'll timeline his jungle odyssey. We'll unpack mind games of isolation and ask, what happens when duty defies reality? So let's get a little bit of background here. To get why Onada ghosted the 20th century, we rewind to 1922. Hiroo Onada is born in Kamikawa, a sleepy fishing village near Tokyo. He was a skinny kid, and he dreamed big. He wants to fly for the Navy, but in 1941, Japan's all in on the Pacific War. At 20, he drops out of commercial school, joins the Army, as an intelligence officer. Okay, now let's fast forward to late 1944. The tide's turning. Allies are island hopping towards Japan. Onada's handpicked for a suicide squad on Lubang Island, a mosquito-infested rock off Luzon in the Philippines. Just 45 square miles of mangrove swamps, jagged peaks, and zero escape routes. His CO, commanding officer, is Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, a shadowy guerrilla warfare guru who drills the mantra into him, "You are dead, do not die. Hold out, wait for reinforcements." On December 17th, 1944, Onada lands with 3 other soldiers, Yuichi Akatsu, Shoichi Shimada, and Kinshichi Kozaka. Pardon my butchering of the Japanese names. Their mission is to sabotage airstrips, harass locals, and disrupt supply lines. But days later, U.S. bombers turned Lubang into a bonfire. The squad scatters into the wild. Onada's last orders echo, never surrender. By August of 1945, Japan capitulates after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Emperor Hirohito broadcasts peace. But Onada, he hears leaflets fluttering down like confetti. The war's over, and shrugs. It's propaganda, he thinks. Yankee tricks to flush him out. And so begins the holdout. Not 29 days, not 29 months, 29 years. If you were dropped into a paradise turned hell, rifle in hand, what would break you first? That's a hard one. I would actually have to think about that for a bit, because that's a hard one. So jungle ghosts and fractured bonds. In 1945 to 1949, the 4 Musketeers of Madness, their ghosts, in the green hell, raiding farms for rice and bananas, dodging Filipino patrols who hunt them like animals. Onada's the boss, 22 years old. Mapping ambushes from volcano ridges, they torch a sugar mill, snipe at cops, petty hits that kill innocents. Over 30 locals die in their crossfire. But cracks form. In 1949, Akatsu, exhausted and homesick, slips a note. I'm going solo. He lasts 6 months alone before waving a white flag to the Filipino troops. Onada's gutted. Betrayal. Now imagine that. You're stuck in the jungle and you're loyal to your cause, and one of the guys under you abandons you. You would feel betrayed. Or is it mercy? The squad shrinks to 3. The 1950s roll in. Eisenhower's president, Elvis is king, and Onada's squad? Eternal teenagers in fatigues. They clash with search parties, dropping Hershey bars and surrender flyers. Fake it all, Onada insists. May of 1954, an ambush gone wrong near a beach. Shimada, 47 and fatherly, takes a bullet shielding Onada. He dies in his arms, gasping. Don't give up. Now there's just 2 left. Now it's Onada and Kazuka, the only 2 that are left. The gruff sergeant who teaches him to fish with dynamite. They evolve. Less raids, more survival. And take it at this point, like they've already been solo in a small Philippine island for a bit of time. So Onada carves a calendar from bamboo. He tracks monsoons and psychology. He's a fortress. Duty is his oxygen, but isolation gnaws. Hallucinations of comrades, whispers in the wind. Then in 1972, the unthinkable. Kazuka, 51, he snaps. During a raid on a lumber camp, a stray bullet from locals, Onada drags his body miles uphill, buries him under a tree. Now, he's utterly alone. No radio, no resupply, just a rusty Arisaka rifle, 500 rounds of ammo, and he's rationed that like gold. He sharpens his blade on rocks, hunts wild pigs with booby traps, and swims coves for fish. Now, in order to keep sane, you would need a daily ritual. This is his daily ritual. Morning PT, push-ups in the mud, evenings journaling on bark scraps, plotting the big offensive that never comes. Locals call him the Ghost. He evades helicopters, dropping photos of his family, aged, pleading. One 1974 stunt, a student named Norio Suzuki treks in, finds him bathing. Why not surrender? Well, his response, the war's not over. Suzuki leaves empty-handed, but buzzes Tokyo. Then through it all, Onada's mind bends, but doesn't break. Imagine that much time there. My mind would break. He later writes, I became a guerrilla in earnest. My family was waiting, but underneath, the aches of lost youth. Fiancés married off, a world remade without him. Imagine, your war ends, but yours doesn't. How long till you crack? So, the surrender. Emperor's Echo, on March 9th, 1974, Ferdinand Marcos, Philippine president, gets wind. He offers a pardon, no trials for the killings. Japan dispatches Major Taniguchi, now a bookseller in his 50s. Balding and bespectacled, they meet. They meet at a prearranged waterfall. Taniguchi, in civvies, hands Onada the surrender order. Yellowed imperial decree from 1945. The war ended in 1945. I did not issue orders. Onada freezes, salutes, hands over his sword and his gun, still oiled, functional after decades in a humid, swampy jungle. He emerges from the mist, 52, but looking 30, lean, alert. Marcos pins a medal, crowds cheer in Manila, but Onada, stone-faced. I fought a clean war, he mutters. No tears, just duty discharged. So, the aftermath and the legacy of Onada. Was he a hero or a haunt? Back in Japan, he gets a rock star welcome. Parades, TV deals, but fame chafes. He marries, moves to Brazil ranching, returns to found a wilderness school, Bushido in the bush. He dies in 2014 at the age of 91, still saluting flags, and then he has a legacy. But imagine all of that. Your legacy is complicated. He's a hero to nationalists, a symbol of unbreakable spirit, a villain to the Filipinos, understandably. 30 dead on his watch. His book, No Surrender, sells millions, but critics call it denial. He never fully apologized. In our PTSD-plagued world, Onada is a mirror. What if loyalty's a cage? His holdout? Extreme devotion. Or is it the ultimate gaslight? So, echoes in the jungle. That's Hiroo Onada, the man who missed 3 decades for honor. If this tale of time lost tenacity hooked you, hit subscribe. Share what if I never let go of stories in the comments. Next time, we'll discuss another story that is either entertaining, baffling, or just unexplained. So please hit the like and follow. It helps me greatly, and it helps me make future content. So yeah, I appreciate your time, and thank you for joining in Storytime with a crusty paratrooper. See y'all next time.